So, hello class. We are going to do these systems real quick. Um, First of all, I wrote them horizontally because it's easier for me to write them that way than it is for me to write them vertically. So you just got to pay attention to where the comma is, and then we have our two different equations. So just try not to worry about that, I guess what I'm trying to say. So the first one, your job is to look at the systems and solve them by graphing. So we're going to set up our x and y axis right in the middle of the page, usually works the best. I am going to recognize that this is y equals mx plus b, so I start at -4, 1, 2, 3, 4, I'm at -4. I've got a slope of 3, so I go up 3 and over 1. So I go up 3 units and over 1, up 3 units and over 1. So this is my line. If I was in your shoes, I'd use a ruler, but there it is. And then I'm going to change colors and graph this one here. I start at y equals 3, and then I have a slope of -1/2. So that means down 1, and that way 2 units, because it's relatively flat. So down 1, it's relatively flat, and it is decreasing. And so that one goes like that. And then it's my job to go, oh, there's my solution. That's the intersection. And that is at the point 2, 2. So that's how you solve with graphing. This one here, it says solve by substitution. Notice, this one's actually super easy. Both of these are y equal, and because they're both y equal, I can just set them equal to each other because they're both y. I'm going to do that. So this becomes -2x plus 1 is the same as -3/2 x, because that I'm just solving one y for another. Okay. A lot of us don't like fractions, so it'd be fine to turn this into -1.5x. I'm going to get all my x's together, so I'm going to add 2 x's to both sides. And so I'm going to get 1 equals 0.5x, because -1.5 plus 2 is 0.5. I'm going to divide both sides by 0.5. And if you don't like dividing by decimals, you get a calculator, so you get x is 2. I'm not done. I got to plug back into one of these equations. I prefer this equation because there's no fractions. So y equals -2 times 2, this 2, right? Plus 1 is y equals -3. So my point is 2, -3. That's where those two equations intersect. This one up here is solved by elimination. I am going to align them first. So I'm going to turn this into 5x plus 4y is 6. I just copied that one underneath it. And I noticed that my 4y's line up. If I add these equations together, -4y plus 4y is 0, so they will eliminate. So I'm going to choose to add. So 3x plus 5x is 8x. -4y plus 4y, they go away, they eliminate. That's the whole idea of elimination. And then 10 plus 6 is 16. Divide both sides by 8. We get x is 2. I'm not done. I've got to plug back in. I can plug back into either equation. It doesn't matter. I'm going to choose my top equation. 3 times 2 minus 4y is 10. So I simplify that to 6. I subtract 6 from both sides. I get -4y is 4 because I subtracted 6 from both sides. I divide now by -4, and I get y is -1. So my point where they intersect is 2, -1. All right, solve any way you would like. Well, this one's one of those surprisingly easy ones. I've already told you the y. It says y equals 3. I'm going to actually start my solution answer and just write that right there, because y equals 3. And now I'm going to substitute this in for that y, so I really have 2x plus 4 times 3 is 6. 4 times 3 is 12. Subtract 12 from both sides. I get 2x is -6. I divide both sides by 2, and I get x is -3. So that's my point, -3, 3. And then I've got my last one here. I notice when I look at this, nothing's lined up. I don't have, it's 2x and a single x, it's a y and a 2y, the 5s maybe are a little tricky. Elimination is going to be a pain in the butt, so I'm going to solve for one of these variables and then do substitution. So I'm going to solve for this variable and say y equals 5 minus 2x. And now I'm going to take that 5 minus 2x and plug it in there for that y. So I end up with x minus 2 times 5 minus 2x is 5. I'm going to distribute my negative 2 and go x minus 10 plus 4x is 5. I'm going to combine my like terms. I get 5x minus 10 is 5. I'm going to add 10 to both sides and get 5x is 15. I'm going to divide both sides by 3 and get, I'm going to divide both sides by 5 and get 3. So now I've got my 3 here. I'm going to take my 3 and plug it back in there. I'm going to get y is 5 minus 2 times 3 is negative 1. So my point is 3, negative 1. There we go. So that is the first half of the test.